آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبعث بعد الموت لا إله إلا الله آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبعث بعد الموت لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله Faith is belief in Allah and the messengers, the angels and the final day and the holy scriptures, and to believe in destiny that good and bad both come from Him, and the resurrection. There is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Allah is the creator of heaven and of earth. Nothing may compare with Him. He is the one alone. The prophets, best of humankind, to all nations and all tribes. Last of all, Muhammad, mercy to the world. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah.
Rabbi Shrah li Sadri, wa yassir li amri, wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Today's subject is dealing with the Code 19. But what is this Code 19, out of curiosity? You see in the Quran, this Holy Quran, Surah 2, verse 9. It says, "Then woe to those who write the book with their own hands, and then say this is word from Allah, to traffic with it for a miserable price. Woe to them for what their hands do right, and for the gain they make thereby. And they say, fire will not touch us, but for a few numbered days. Say, have ye taken a promise from Allah? For He never breaks His promise. Or is it that ye say of Allah what ye know not? Nay, those who seek gain in evil and girt round by their sins, they shall be companions of the fire, therein shall they abide forever." The essence of this lecture is first to show that no book is the word of Allah if it does not be safeguarded by Allah. The books before was the word of Allah, but it's been changed. The Quran has not been changed, so it's still the word of Allah and not by man. We're disputing those who wrote their book with their own hand. Did the Quran go through this? No, the Quran was not written by no man. It was written from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It wasn't even written. It was from verbal revelation, revealed, given from Angel Gabriel to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a verbal revelation. Go to Revelation chapter 24. well, chapter 22, verse 19. And if any man shall take away from the word of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in the book. Also, the New Testament says those who take away words or put in words is wrong. God earns a stern punishment according to the Old Testament for those who write the book with their own hands. So we see that if it's the word of Allah, it cannot be the word of man. There's a difference. But the way I would like to prove that to you is by using the code 19. But this code 19, was it? The Holy Quran says in Surah 74 verse 30, I think I'm getting soon. 63, 73, yeah, 74. In the 30th verse says, over it is 19. What do you mean by that? It means that hellfire is the it. The it refers to hellfire or Jahannam. But 19, do you think it just means the angels? Well, the verse 31 is the commentary of the verse. Verse 30 is the verse over it is 19. That's where code 19 starts. But verse 31 is the longest verse of the chapter. And all the verses before verse 30 is 3 or 4 or 5 words. Right? And including verse 30 is 3 or 4 or 5 words. And after verse 31 is 3 or 4 or 5 words. Simple. Verse 31 is the only long verse. And it's 57 words. It's a commentary on the verse. And this verse states that it will increase those who's in faith and the people who disbelieve, who has a disease in their hearts, with the right disinformation. They will not like it. Right? So, since the Quran talks about a code 19, miracle 19, over it is 19, this formula, the way it's going to deride the disbelievers, the way the ones who have a disease in the heart, is by proving that this scripture is none like any other scripture. That the atheists, the agnostics have to even admit that this book is the word of Allah. But how am I going to do it? Using the same formula. The formula works like this. You're going to use the division over 19, and if it's divisible, it works. If it's undivisible, it's broken. The whole thing is worthless. So this formula, the first chapter, the opening, Surah Al-Fatiha, verse 1 is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, 19 letters. There's 114 chapters in the Quran. Right? 114. Divide that by 19, 6. Divisible. What's the first surah to be revealed? It's Surah Al-Alaq. Surah 96. And that's the 19th. The first chapter is the 19th to the end of this book. And in the first 5 verses of Surah 96 has 19 words. And it reads, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Iqra bismi rabbika lazi khalaq. Khalaqal insana min alaq. Iqra rabbukal akram. Alladhi alama bil qalam. Alama al insana ma lam ya'lam. 19 words. So since the first revelation is 19 words, but what about the last revelation of the chapter? The last revelation is Surah An-Nasr, and that has 19 words. It starts, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. 19 words. Well, that's 19 words, and the first verse is 19 letters. So we can see that there is a occurrence of 19, 19, 19, 19 over again. So I said, isn't this a miracle? A man coming from the desert 1400 years ago, don't even know how to read or write, produce a book like this, 2,000 pages. Isn't that a miracle to you? And it's using a formula of 19 over and over again? Is that a miracle? I asked the audience and many people. But some of the people say this back to me. How can this be a miracle? Can it be a miracle? No. This is what they say. Because the Quran, you say that the Quran starts with 114 chapters. Everything starts with Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. But one chapter of the Quran does not start with Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. So your formula is broken. Because if 114 divided by 19 is visible, that's 6. If it's 113 divided by 19, it's broken. Because it's going to be 5 point something. I said, hold up. Your perception is wrong. You didn't read the Quran, the whole thing. You just skim through it and see Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim 113 times. What surah do you say is missing Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim? You say, well, chapter 9. So what's the chapter name? It says At-Tawbah. Say correct. Go 19 chapters down. And you reach chapter 27. 19 chapters down. Remember, 19. That's another 19 right there. Go 19 chapters down and you reach Surah 27, which is An-Naml. And you say there's no thing shocking. Because it starts simply with Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. There's not an extra Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I say, hold up. Read in the body of the surah. There's another Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim right there. What does that mean? If there's 113 Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, the chapter starts, and in the body of the 19 chapters down, starts with 19, with Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, add 113 plus 1. 114. Divided by 19, 6. So your perception is wrong. It's not that the Quran is having a mistake. It's your perceiving is wrong. Because when you check it, you see, oh, there's only 113 chapters that start with Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. That's why I say the Quran is not a one-day thing. It's a life thing. You read it for your life. Because every single time, there's something new being discovered. 50 years ago, the scientists didn't know what the Big Bang was. They didn't know what Big Bang was. Only 50 years ago they discovered it. And 1400 years ago, a man coming from the desert, don't know how to read or write his own name, produced a book like this, talking about the Big Bang, Surah 21 verse 30, where earth and heaven is together and is split asunder. Who could have known that? He can't be a man coming from the desert who doesn't know how to read or write his own name. So we see there's another occurrence of 19, 19, 19, 19. Now go from Surah Tawbah, the same one that you said Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim is missing. And add 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way to 27. 19 chapters down. Add it up and you get 342. 9 plus 10, plus 11, plus 12, all the way to plus 27 is 18. It's 342 divided by 19 is 18. Isn't that divisible? It's not 18.0 something. So that's another miracle. The letter Yasin from Surah Yasin. Ya and Sin appear at the beginning of Yasin. The letter Sin appears 48 times in Surah Yasin, and the letter Ya appears 237. The total of these letters is 285, right? And guess what? 285 divided by 19 is what? 15. And guess what? Only one surah, the 7th, begins with the initial alif, lam, mim, sad. And the letter alif appears 2,529 times. The letter lam appears 1,530 times. Mim appears 1,164 times. And sad appears 97 times. These 4 letters appear thus appear 2,529 times plus 1,530 plus 1,164 plus 97 or 5,320. That's how much it equals. 5,320. Divide by 19 is 280. Another divisible number. And it goes on like that. It's divisible in the beginning, the middle, and end. Like I said in another subject, the Quran rhymes in the beginning, middle, end. Well, now the formula works in the beginning, middle, and end. Simple. So this cannot be from man 1400 years ago. He did not know how to write his name, so how is that possible? So what's the purpose of bringing the subject? It's proof to your atheist agnostic. This cannot be from a word of a man 1400 years ago. Can it? No. It can't be. Because he did not even know how to write his name, and he comes with a book 2,000 pages. Doesn't make sense. Now you have Christians who are trying to refute this claim. Code 19 in the Quran. That's the article name. By Dave Thomas. Who's it by? Dave Thomas. And in his article, he says, some Islamic scholars following the work of Rashid Khalifa. We don't believe in this because this man claimed to be apostle of Allah, Allah's messenger. That's what he claims. How can you claim yourself to be an apostle of Allah when only Prophet ﷺ is the last and final prophet and messenger to come? That's sad. He's claiming that he's apostle for bringing this message. Oh, look at this 19 in the Quran. So because of you bringing this message, 19 in the Quran, makes you a messenger? No, that's not true. So we can see this is a false man. But this number 19 is something shocking. Forget the man and look at the 19. This person here, David Thomas, I'm going to skim through his essay, and right here it says that if the Quran uses the miracle 19, the American Declaration of Independence uses it. So what's the miracle? If one uses it and the other uses it, what's the miracle? It's already been done by another person. I said, fool, did he know how to read or write? Did the man, Prophet Muhammad, did he know how to read or write his own name? He said, no. What about the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Didn't they know how to write the name? He said, yes. Aren't they knowledgeable people? He said, yes. But guess what? Even furthermore about what you're claiming, you didn't say the whole Declaration of Independence would work like this. It's just one paragraph. As in, it reads, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and the nature's God entitled them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind, required that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. The first paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. Now, he did his, I gotta give credit, he did a lot of work. So-called a lot of work. I hope you can see it, it's clear. Now, in the image above that I just showed you, the words of the first paragraph of the Declaration of Independence are listed vertically, right? The words are listed vertically, the ones that use it more than once. In the Declaration of Independence, in the first paragraph, the words that's repeated more than once, and the words that's just repeated once only. And to the right of each word appears the number of letters of the word. Forget the punctuation marks. There's no necessary for punctuation marks if you're doing vertically. The red boxes show all the occurrences of the contiguous words, e.g., a few words, in a row, which have the sum of the letters equaling 19. Behold, there are exactly 19 such coincidences. The blue boxes show all the occurrences of the words occurring only once. And behold, there are 19 occurrences. So guess what? Now he summarized that this, if the Declaration of Independence can do this on the first paragraph. What's so miraculous about the Quran? That's all he had to say. So guess what he says? This is all he says. I only scratch the surface, and I'm sure, he's not 100% certain, but he says he's sure that a great many 19 coincidences can be found in the Declaration of Independence. Then why did he do it? If he's so sure, why didn't he just do it for us? But guess what? Let's give credit to him, man. He said the Declaration of Independence, do it in the first paragraph, right? Say yes. I said, so what? These people know how to read or write. If they had time, they can do it. That's just one small paragraph. A few sentences. Now look at this. Look how thick this book is. A book almost thick like this. This is just a smaller book. This is just a pocket book Quran. This is why it's more smaller. But in the regular size Quran, about 2,000 pages, man coming from desert, don't know how to read or write, produce a book like this. Can you believe that? Is it possible? No. And he used the formula 19 over and over. He'd take the number of words in the Quran, number of letters, number of chapters in the Quran, divide by 19 divisible. And look how many occurrences I just read to you. So it's not possible for a man coming from desert to do this. Because once you add in a word, the whole formula is broken. Because there's a certain number of words in the Quran. If you divide by 19, it's divisible. If you add in a word, it's broken. If you add in more than one word, it's broken. Add in a chapter, it's broken. Add in a verse, it's broken. So it's not possible for a man to write another verse of the Quran or another chapter. The Quran challenges them. And guess what? It's never been done. The occurrences that they've been trying to do it was plagiarism, because they started a book. I can't remember the name of the book offhand, but they literally took a book, wrote it in Arabic, and they can literally read the thing, and you think it's a Quran you're hearing, a recitation of the Quran by Mishari or something. It sounds exactly the same. But guess what? Once you start the formula Bismillahirrahmanirrahim all throughout your book, every chapter, you plagiarize already. You're copying from the Quran. So first thing they tried doing, they made a mistake. So there's no way that the Quran can be changed. This is what I was trying to prove. I proved that Surah 2 verse 9 is true, and that no man can write the word of Allah. If they write the word of Allah, it's not the word of Allah. Because the Quran in so many places challenges people to do this, try doing it, and it's never been done. So I end my subject with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon all of you. And I want you to know that this is number 19. None of your atheists can refute this. None of your agnostics can refute this. Inshallah, hope I did justice to the subject. Assalamu alaikum.
آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبعث بعد الموت لا إله إلا الله آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره من الله والبعث بعد الموت لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله Faith is belief in Allah and the messengers, the angels and the final day and the holy scriptures, and to believe in destiny that good and bad both come from Him, and the resurrection. There is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله Allah is the creator of heaven and of earth. Nothing may compare with him, he is the one alone. The prophets, best of humankind, to all nations and all tribes. Last of all Muhammad, mercy to the world. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Formed of light and beauty, the angels of the Lord, to praise Allah, to help mankind, Jibreel brings the word. The scriptures all by Allah sent, Torah, Psalms and Gospel, then the source of perfect guidance, the glorious Quran. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. The reckoning, the final day when all will see their works, remade in soul and body to stand before the Lord, with patience bearing every grief, with thankfulness for all blessings. We are content with destiny, the will of Allah. Faith is belief in Allah and the messengers, the angels and the final day and the holy scriptures. To believe in destiny, that good and bad both come from Him, and the resurrection. There is no God but Allah. Amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhiri wal qadri khayrihi wa sharrihi min Allah wal ba'thi ba'da al maut. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.